Welcome to the Loud Whisper Takeover podcast. Today, we will talk about Krav Maga, which is a self defense practice. And I have a special guest with me because I want to actually explore what Krav Maga has to do with love, compassion, and personal development. I give you a little bit of context. I started Krav Maga as an action actress, thinking I will learn some self defense things because there are elements of boxing, Brazilian jiu jitsu. We learn to defend ourselves against weapons. And as an action actress, those are great skills to have. However, during training, you'll learn things that go against your instinct of not wanting to harm other people. I started crying many times in class. I did not expect that. And another journey began. I became aware that there was physical healing that was taking place on a cellular level. I became present to I was learning about giving and receiving love and being in the presence of supportive masculine energy. I met an amazing human being in Bulgaria. He is organizing outdoor survival in Krav Maga camps in forests and mountains, the mountains of Bulgaria. He's dedicated to creating safe spaces for groups that he takes with him on these journeys. He is really dedicated to create spaces where there is respect, responsibility, integrity. There's a lot of self reflection going on. He is the founder of Authentic Bulgaria, Sergej Bulgaria. Welcome. Welcome, Sergej. How are you doing?
That's a great introduction. We can stop the podcast now. It was the greatest introduction. Yeah, I cannot add anything. So yeah, my name is Sergej Krivoruchko. I'm currently a tour guide in Bulgaria and organize small scale tours in rural Bulgaria for people who are fed up with the mass tourism, and when they go on a holiday, they don't want to be treated like a number. So I bring them to places off the beaten track, and so they can feel seen and welcome. And currently, I don't teach Krav Maga because I'm injured, but sometimes there are some Krav Maga elements in the tours that are organized because it's only sightseeing is sometimes a bit boring, so people can let off the steam.
Awesome. And so we will talk about your tours in Bulgaria as well, because there's something very beautiful about it. But first, maybe for listeners that don't really know what Krav Maga is, can we give them a little bit of an explanation of how you see what Krav Maga is? Because also you are that guy that loves cuddling cats.
Mhm.
You are a cuddler. You
Yeah.
love kindness. You're a very compassionate human being. Yet you
Mhm.
became a Krav Maga practitioner. You had a Krav Maga club as well in Belgium when you used to live in Belgium.
Yeah.
How do you see Krav Maga and its relationship to violence, perhaps, and how you, as a very kind guy, got involved into that?
Yeah, I think maybe people can relate. I grew up in a small village at the seaside, very, very cozy in Belgium. And then when I turned 18, 19, I had to study in a big city, Antwerp. And Antwerp is a very noisy city. A lot of things are happening at the same time. And I went with my naive personality. I went into the big city, and I didn't know what a university was because I had to go to my first day, and I looked around and I wanted to ask people, but I didn't feel safe. And I never had this feeling. It's like, why I don't feel safe? And then I see all these people loud, outgoing, and yeah, not so polite or friendly than in cozy village where I grew up. I experienced a lot of unsafety in my body, and I didn't want to have this. I want to feel safe again. So then I started the journey. Like, okay, what should you do when you don't feel safe? Maybe you should do some boxing, whatever. I went to do some taekwondo, but I felt like in a realistic situation on the streets, for instance, in Antwerp, when there was a big guy coming up to you, what should you do? I really wanted to know what I should do, what I could do in this kind of situation. So then came Krav Maga, and Krav Maga was for me the right thing to learn at that time because I really wanted to know like things that are come in handy, like very useful, effective on the streets. So no blah blah. And okay, so I subscribed in my first class, and I was a bit intimidated by the big guys, obviously, because they were like, they were talking a lot and they were like very big. And then my first class, like, hello, very naive, hello, how are you? And there were some guys, Ukrainian guys, and there's a hello, hello. And they just did the exercise. We did the exercise, but they were not nice to me. They were just, it was, how Krav Maga, it's very realistic. It depends which Krav Maga class you're attending to, but it was full contact. So that meant after the class, a lot of bruises, uh, pain, aches, but I said to myself, like, I really like this. And then my journey started. And after 10 years, I decided to start my own club and in Knokke, but now I moved to Bulgaria, so my club doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, they really know the hands-on thing, what to do in a situation where you don't feel safe. It's very, yeah, it should be taught on school, actually. That's my opinion.
And so you were talking about the fact that you didn't feel safe in the big city. Was it a true sense of not feeling physically safe, or was it both emotional and physical? What did you feel
Yeah, I
first?
think I think it's both. It's an end-to-end story. Due to personal, everyone has his own story, traumas, blah blah blah. It's a big thing now, but yeah, some things are true about trauma, and yeah, as well physically. Never did. Only did some soccer, played some soccer, but I never was into this. What's the small world? This martial art world. And maybe I'm generalizing, but everyone has tattoos. Is like has a bald head, and a haircut, and it looks aggressive. Yeah, like you said,
That's me.
you don't look aggressive. But yeah, the big tough guy, typical tough guy. And yeah, I'm not that guy, but I still wanted to learn how to defend myself. And yeah, it didn't stop with the Krav Maga. I did some wrestling, did some BJJ, boxing. So but that's what's Krav Maga all about. You don't want to, you don't want to show off with your skills. You want to show to the outside world that you're not a fighter. But when they make a problem, then yeah, they feel it inside. That they feel this calm energy, and so they don't want pick you as a victim on the streets or whatever. It's very important. It's about energy as well. The yeah, they choose the prey. The how do you call it? Someone who's
Yeah, the prey,
yeah,
their target.
yeah, that target. But the one who is hunting, the hunter, the one who is
Oh,
hunting the prey.
the bad guy. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, the bad. That's called the bad guy. They have like a sensor, microseconds. They can see whether you're an easy victim or not, and they check everything. It's based upon microseconds where they have this sensor, and it's okay. Okay, no, this is a not so easy target. This is a crazy woman. This is a crazy guy. Oh, let's find another one. So it starts with that, and I felt that back in the days, like I was an easy target.
I want to just bounce back on a few things that you've said. So, first of all, would you agree if I summarize what Krav Maga could be for those that have never really seen it in action? Number one is self defense. So, it's not about attacking, it's if a threat is coming to you, you know how to respond. Number two, it's about de escalating first. If you can avoid any problems, you avoid it at all costs.
Sure.
Number three is it's not about fighting and staying in the fight for
No.
minutes or hours. It's how can I basically give one punch, two punches, but how can I, as fast as possible, learn a technique where I neutralize or hit my opponent and I have just the time to run away? Would that be something that summarizes it well? Or
Yeah,
you add
because
something?
yeah, that's correct. And nowadays, you see a lot of YouTube videos which are quite spectacular, but that's not the case. I attended the school European Krav Maga Academy in Antwerp, and the owner Luc van Laren is a very no nonsense guy. So he doesn't care about stripes, about anything. He just wants to, just wants to get the deal done, and the deal is to come out of safe out of a potential threatening situation. So it's not only the physical part, it is as well de-escalation, and that's a lot of that's verbally as well, and psychologically as well, because you have to act under pressure, and this is you have to train this in a realistic way. You cannot only talk about it, and that's why a lot of people don't want to go to a Krav Maga class because they want to learn the stuff, but in a very innocent way. uh, if the Krav Maga club is a safe environment, that means that the instructor should always yeah, uh, check every person if they are training because it's full contact. If someone's hit or someone has a trauma reaction or whatever, they should stop the class. You can push yourself a little bit, that's true, but it has a lot to do with the trauma reactions of the body as well. And in my opinion, a lot of instructors in the past don't, yeah, they don't take into this into consideration. They only want to have the Superman badass. And it's not only about that. It's maybe 30-40%. It's about the physical part. And about the legal part or what if you hit someone on the head and you run away and this person is injured for the rest of his or her life, you should pay whatever the cameras did you hit first, you know. So these are all serious things to take into consideration, and that's why it's not only hitting on a ball or on a pad.
Yeah, because we learn techniques that literally, like you say, can harm or hurt people for life, or they could be blind forever, or
Yeah,
or they
yeah,
could
yeah.
die even. Like Krav Maga can teach you these tools as well. It's to be taken very precautiously, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah. So that's why if you're into self-defense, go to a Krav Maga club. However, always stay true to yourself and feel whether you feel safe enough intuitively with the instructor
Yeah.
and the atmosphere. And it should be realistic. There are some couple of bullet points that criteria for a decent Krav Maga. And it doesn't stop with Krav Maga. Like if I would have done only Krav Maga without to at least have some wrestling or BJJ experience, you have to know, what's going on nowadays with the young people.
And I just want to clarify the jargon for people that maybe less familiar with martial arts. So BJJ is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So in
Yeah,
case some listeners don't know it.
sometimes we call like if you see two men cuddling on a mat, it's probably BJJ. So two women, yeah.
Yeah. I want to bounce back on the fact that you were talking about trauma reactions of the body. Because, as I said, I started Krav Maga as an actress, wanting to learn stuff for my acting movies. I've started crying many times in class, and it's especially sparring. So, freestyle fighting, right? So, all of a sudden, the teacher says, okay, here we go for 1 minute or 30 seconds. Let's go. It's soft sparring, but
Mhm.
still I have my reaction. Like there is something on a cellular level that I cannot control that came out that I had to become aware of. And so now there's a new journey of healing that is starting with it. Have you had to overcome any challenges on the beginning of your journey or when you had your club in Knokke in
Mhm.
Belgium? Have you seen or experienced something alike with students maybe that you could share or want to share?
Yeah, a lot of times people freeze, or a lot. Most of the times, people say the people my niche, my target audience were the people who were a bit more shy, introverted, and people who thought that they would never learn a martial art in their life because they're like, "That's nothing for me," and they're only the tough guys. So this was my target audience, and then most of the times people said, "Yeah, but I don't want to hurt the other person." But then I emphasized that, okay, this is a safe environment. You don't have to hit the person, but at least train your memory muscle to hit the person or touch the person when you hit. And hitting should be on places which are affected. If I hit a wrestler in his, I mean, 100 kilograms BJJ, or a wrestler in his stomach, he would just laugh and he would say, "Oh, that's nice." But if I go with my hands or fingers into the eyes, which by the way you can train, or go to the groin, hit to the groin, to his groin, that's a different story. And most of the times, women as well. Like I'm not a woman, so I cannot talk for a woman, but a lot of times women told me like, "Yeah, I can't do anything because I'm 1 meter 60 and 50 kilograms. What can I do to the aggressor. But believe me, if you, Cindy, go with your nails in my eyes,
It's over.
yeah, what would I do? What would be my reaction? So my natural reaction would go to with my hands to the eyes and maybe have some tears and 2 or 3 minutes. I can't see anything decently, but that gives you time to run away. And yeah, these kind of stuff you should just train but they don't teach you this at school. And a lot of times we should decondition ourselves because we're taught not to hurt anyone, and which is good. But as you know, the world is not only don't doesn't only exist out of good guys. There are bad guys as well.
Yeah, and like you said, hitting another person is so confronting. So, first of all, in sparring, the freestyle fighting, that's when I get triggered. But
Mhm,
also when I have to you train, you don't hit the other person, but you go
mhm,
as close as to reality possible without hurting
mhm,
them. But even that, tears are falling down my cheeks.
mhm,
And there is something else that I've experienced in Krav Maga, and we're talking about women, and I felt so held by masculine energy in Krav Maga classes because my friends that don't do Krav Maga, they imagine that it's a lot of tough guys, that go to Krav Maga.
mhm,
And
mhm,
actually, it's a lot of teddy bears that are full of kindness,
mhm,
that just learn these techniques as well because maybe they are introverts or they're absolutely not the fighting guys. But then what's happening in the classes, they have to be the bad guys for us, the women, so that we can practice. Because if I fight a woman that is 50 kilograms, I will never actually be ready if something was to happen in the street.
mhm.
But the guy with the big arms in class is gonna
Yeah.
have to do as if he's attacking me. And I know it's confronting for them. They don't want to do that to a woman. Even in a class environment, it's challenging for them, but they have to do it in order to serve us, the feminine energy in the space. And there, for me, there is like beauty behind it, and that's the first time I experienced such a thing, like it sort of
Yeah,
feels very
that's very
surreal.
interesting. Yeah, it's very because that depends as well on which society you grew up in. For instance, in Bulgaria, if you talk about masculine or feminine energy, they would like, what are you talking about? Because here, the conservative, these traditional values where the guy, the man, protects the woman is quite normal. And it's normal because when you live in a rural country, in a rural countryside, yeah, it's about sometimes the man is just better at doing the heavy work. And if they see a bear, whatever, normally the guy should go first, not the woman, to protect the woman, not the other way around.
We're gonna talk about these bears in Bulgaria when we're gonna start addressing the camps you organize, because there's also a whole thing around that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Krav Maga teachers first, because you were emphasizing on the fact that we should find a good teacher. Like I actually tried 9 Krav Maga clubs.
Wow.
I tried 7 in person and 2 I had a phone call with.
Wow.
And it's when I met my teacher in Barcelona, I
Hmm.
was like, he's my maestro. He
Hmm.
is an incredible man he has a very high level of emotional intelligence.
Hmm.
He knows how to create safe spaces. He's incredible in terms of technique, but there's so much more happening in the class.
Hmm.
So can you talk a little bit more about having and still you're still a teacher because there are still some Krav Maga in your retreats right now, but having had your club, what is for you or what was for you very important as a Krav Maga teacher that you're like, I had to bring that to the space that is non-negotiable.
You talked about acting before in the Krav Maga class. That this is very important. People, and this comes in handy for you because people, if you imitate or like a scenario, you play a scenario, play where you have a scenario where a woman is walking along the alley and there are two guys who are asking her for some money, and you know how it goes, like, what time is it? And it's 9 p.m, it's dark, it's winter time, it's maybe in Barcelona or Antwerp, and we start the play. So this scenario, it's very important to play it realistically and to be serious about that. No, you cannot say all. So no, it was for it was laughing. No, I was like, no, you should play seriously to have a good training. So that's very important. And the question about the teacher was the instructor. What should
What
be?
is a non-negotiable for you as a teacher, like that you really should bring to the space so that you are a good teacher or that you are the best support for your students possible?
Yeah, first of all, it's not about me. I don't have to prove anything. I'm not the strongest guy in the world. I will never be. So it's about the ego thing, first of all. And
Mhm.
second, realism. It should be very realistically. And that means pressure, full contact, and no nonsense. So sometimes it's not, you have to, yeah, just always be in tune with the group because you can say, like now we have a class where it's only combatives and you really have to hit. Yeah, but if you see that people don't feel safe or they're like, hey, it's not for me, then okay, maybe you can push them a little bit. But if they would say like, we don't want this, then you should listen to that as well. It's not always combatives or techniques, but it's about other stuff as well. Yeah, like the pre-assault cues of a potential aggressor. What are the signs where you should look for when there's a threat? A lot of people are not in tune with their body, so they don't see the potential threats, the pre-assault cues. But if
Yeah, you
you're,
were talking about actually the fact that aggressors have micro sensors.
yeah,
So
so
what
yeah,
what are a few examples you could give about us becoming aware, "Oh, this is making me a target if I behave this way or show this side of myself," or whatever?
yes. First of all, you have to acknowledge that you never would hurt a person like that, never, for no reason. But there are crazy people who do this, and this is the first realization that there's a big difference in this mentality. So you should acknowledge that. Okay, I would never do that, but there are people that would do this. So that's very important to acknowledge that.
So what are the micro sensors that they have, and what are the micro behaviors maybe that we portray that make us a target?
Yeah. So have you ever felt uncomfortable in a fitness, in a gym, or in an elevator? You have this very uncomfortable feel when there's a new person or coming passing by. Have you ever felt?
No, but I do have that very often when I walk in the streets of Brussels.
Yes. Okay. So we have an example. Okay. It's not a fitness, but you, okay. This kind of feeling, when you have this uncomfortable feeling, we often tend to, we are angry at ourselves. Like, why do I feel this? I don't want to feel this. Oh, no, it's not true. And this person is just following me. And maybe he's not, he's just looking for a vet for his cat or whatever. And we always try to, in our head, we try to downplay, downsize our intuition, what our body is telling us, but it should be the opposite. We should listen to it instead of just it's fine. I trust the guy is fine. He's fine. But your body is like red flag, red flag. He's like no. So first of all, yeah, listen to your to the body when it's giving signals, which if it's not okay for you, and you can run away from the situation. And these kind of things are not. I don't know whether it's deliberate. They are not taught to us. Yeah,
We are on the Loud Whisper Takeover podcast. It's all about intuition.
yeah,
Nourish it.
right,
Listen
right,
to it. It is giving signals that we cannot ignore.
correct. Yeah. And it's not rocket science. It's just, but yeah, nowadays it's all about therapy and words. And but if I'm on the streets and if I see two guys and I don't trust it, I just cross the street. And it's not because I'm a Krav Maga guy. Like I see those two guys, I can handle them. No, I just cross over the street. I don't want to have any trouble. I mean, I don't want to have a potential trouble. I just want to go. Yeah, I want to be safe. Go home.
So Krav Maga, self-defense, surviving in hostile environments, that could be a city, a country, a particular moment. You're also organizing outdoor survival camps, and that's another kind of survival. Can you tell us more about what we actually do in those camps? So it was our trips in Bulgaria and how you also add some or sprinkle some Krav Maga in it.
Yeah. So the tours that I organize in Bulgaria, they are not really outdoor survival. I mainly organize these camps in Belgium. So it was a combo Krav Maga and outdoor survival, which is, in my opinion, a very synergetic combination. And yeah, now in Bulgaria, I'm planning to organize these trips, but I'm still, because Bulgaria is a very wild country, very untouched nature, a lot of nature. So first of all, I want to get to know the place better first if I want to start organizing these camps. But I do organize for expat digital nomads or just Bulgarians here workshops for 2 3 hours, how to make a fire, how to uh, just an introduction of Krav Maga.
Did I also see on your Instagram something about bears? Are there bears in Bulgaria, right?
There are currently more than 1,000 bears in Bulgaria, uh, and most of the time they're more scared of humans than that we are scared, that we should be scared of them. Most of the times when they hear us, they run away. But if they're hungry and they should feed the cubs, and you should meet them, then it's not a pleasant situation. But yeah, you have more risk for getting in a car accident, than to die in a car accident than to die of a bear attack.
So we should not be scared to come on your tours and your trips because bears are
No,
definitely
no,
not a
no,
threat.
no, no, no. But there are some things which you can take into consideration. Like if you want to go wild camping, yeah, if you have like 10 sausages in your camp, don't you be surprised that maybe there are like wild boars or wolves in your tent and maybe a bear. It's about common sense, actually.
And so you sprinkle some Krav Maga activities sometimes in your current trips, but you're using it for fun, you told me. How are you incorporating it for fun? Like how is it like a team building exercise or what are you doing
Mm,
with it?
I go in Bulgaria, we visit places which are off the beaten track, and a lot of these places are archaeological tombs or from the Thracians or from ancient civilizations. And these kind of places are very overwhelming, and it takes time to process them. And sometimes I give like a pat, and then people can hit on the pat just to let off some steam. I don't know if you say this in English, but in Dutch you say this stormaflaten, but you say, yeah, and I think this is a perfect combination that you have some moment for yourself, you have downtime, you can be on your own, you can, yeah, contemplate, you can stare, gaze into the wild, and sometimes it's a mix, in my opinion, of all of these different kind of activities, which makes it, yeah, full circle for the experience.
Yeah, I love how you present that because going into another country, there is a lot of new stimulus,
Hmm.
new language, new culture, things to take in, being outside of your comfort zone. And I am a big meditator, but you're right. Like there are moments actually something that is very physical that makes you sweat. It's also a way of processing and digesting information or going to
Yeah, that was almost like now they call it holistically to be like in a holistic way. But I'm not into one thing. I think life should be explored in many different ways. I like to play music. I like to dance. I like to, I mean, fight. I mean, train how to defend myself. Maybe that's a better explanation. And enjoy nature, and yeah, these kind of things are reflecting in my trips. Yeah, that it shouldn't be focused only mainly on one thing, or like only on the Thracians or only Bulgaria. It's about, yeah, we can, it's about being together, the food, it's about everything. And that's why, and this way people feel more safe because nothing is required of them. It's nothing, we can let go of all these roles that we play. And that's why people love these kind of trips, because they feel like, whoa, they feel themselves first of all, and then second, they feel accepted just the way they are.
in your Instagram posts, it's like undeniable how your soul and your heart is vibrating and is being touched by Bulgarian culture, Bulgarian people, Bulgarian nature. Why did you move to Bulgaria? And what was that moment where you thought, you know what, that's it. I got to pack my bags and Bulgaria it is. I have to move. I cannot stay in Belgium. I have to move.
Yeah, my name is, I have different backgrounds. You know, I have Canadian roots, Romanian roots, Ukrainian, or Russian, whatever, Belgium, Dutch, everything. No, from Norway. I always knew from a kid, from when I was little. Yeah, that I wanted to move to another country because Belgium for me was a bit too boring. It was too small, there was not a lot of nature in Belgium. So, and I always thought that okay, I want to move to Spain because Spain was for me like, yeah, I want to be like a don on a hacienda, on a finca, and have my oranges and my olive trees and vineyard, whatever. But then this pandemic hit, and things started to change, and I wanted to have more peace, a bit more freedom. I wanted to experience more nature untouched, which is like wild nature, not just some parks or whatever, but wild nature and mountains, and where you can feel lost and feel human again. That and where the natural elements are still in command. And I booked a ticket for Spain in 2022, and 5 days prior, something I don't know what, maybe YouTube like promoting Bulgaria, whatever. And then I booked a ticket for Bulgaria instead of Spain. I went first 3 days in Bulgaria. I was like, what the hell? These people are very cold and like typical Balkan people. When you ask them something, they just like it's there, it's there. You ask them something, it's there. They don't laugh. Like then when you start to know them, you see that actually they're very warm, they're very genuine, they're very authentic. And I like this more than the more general American, like, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm generalizing, of course, but the Bulgarians, like, they have it's a crossroad. It's crossroad from east, west, and all different kind of culture. And I think that's a reflection of who I'm actually. You cannot pinpoint me for one nationality. And I went to bound school 5 days after. I took the train from Burgas, that's a seaside. And then, yeah, I fell in love with Bansk on the first day that I arrived. I said, okay, I'm going to move here. I'm going to live here. And then I went back, took my car. In 3 days, I drove to Bulgaria, and I started without a plan, which is not, I cannot, it's not advisable, but yeah, I started even my own business. But I was so scared in the beginning because I didn't know anything. I did not know anyone. I didn't know how to start a business, especially in Bulgaria. Come on, it's a Cyrillic alphabet, and no network, no business idea plan. But I told myself, okay, if I want to really integrate in this country, I should do things differently than the average expat, which means avoiding speaking English. Now I speak like a bit English with Bulgarian accent, which is quite normal because I only speak Dutch or Bulgarian nowadays. But I do it on purpose because I don't want to. Yeah, I want to really integrate, which means learning the language, and Bulgarian is a difficult language. But as well, yeah, networking with the local population. And what I see a lot of people do is that the comfort zones, and they see people who speak English, and they stay and they speak English, or they go to the expat community, which is very normal because it's safety. It's about safety again, and people want to feel safe, and they want to see familiar things. So what I did is I went into the fear, into the combat like you did on training. And yeah, nowadays I can communicate with the people. I started to like like a madman. It's like to study Bulgarian every day, like at least for an hour, and look like go to YouTube, buying a lot of different books, searching the best online classes. So it's the other thing that I'm doing. Yeah.
But you had this intuition, like literally the first day you arrived in Bulgaria, you were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna move here."
Yeah. And not the first day, first 2 days, like these are weird people. They are so cold and warm in the same in the same way. A lot of people, I think, have this first impression of Bulgarians that are quite distant and a bit weird. They're not the best. They don't have this typical Western service oriented way of doing things, but they're quite service oriented in their way, in their authentic way. And not
Yeah,
a
like
lot
the
of
local
words.
market in Bansko, the local market with, like, the fresh fruit and, like, people are super gentle and kind, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
they're almost sharing, like, the vegetables from their garden in the
Yeah.
market,
So,
and
and they don't talk, but you give you a present or one of their vegetables that they grew in their own garden. And these things are for me, they represent more than just words. Yeah.
also the love for animals, like, Bansko is full of street dogs, full of street cats, but they somehow belong to everyone, like, they will
Yeah.
feed them as well, and there is, like, a
Yeah.
sense of community around
Yeah.
that as well, and
Yeah. The street animals and the stray dogs and the stray cats, they are, yeah, they nourish, they replenish your soul, huh? And it's like a therapy. You don't need to pay a therapist. You can just hang around in the city square, and then you can just hang around with the stray dogs and the stray cats.
anybody who's listening, if you're gonna follow Sergey on Instagram, you will always see an Instagram story where he found a new cat friend that just, like, snuggled into his lap and spent the afternoon
Yeah.
there, which is absolutely so cute.
Yeah, and it calms, it soothes down your nervous system. And in the West, we're continuously, we're overstressed. We are hurrying just to have some rest. But yeah, so this kind of society wasn't for me, and that's why I'm here in Bulgaria, which everything is more laid back, relaxed, and my immune system can relax here more, and which is for me one of the most important things, to feel safe and safety. When there is safety, you can live again. You don't have to go into survival modus every day, like I was in the West. I was continuously in survival modus, and I
So
rushed back to home just to have some peace of mind and rest. Yeah.
so you would say that Bulgaria offers you both a physical safe space and also a more emotionally safe space?
Yes, here that's true. The people are they don't care. They don't care what you do, how you look like, and therefore there's less ego is a good thing, but not the ego which is, I don't know how you call it, which is like blown up ego. How you call it? Blown up? Yeah.
Yeah, like a big ego, like
Yeah.
where an inflated
Yeah,
ego.
an inflated ego just to hide their insecurities, this kind of ego. Yeah. And here you don't have that. Obviously, you have that everywhere, but here it's less, and there are less people, so you have more space. And yeah, and I just wish that for everyone, this safety. That's very important, because it's not all about the universe and this and that's about reality as well, in Krav Maga as well. You cannot wish when there's an aggressor. You cannot wish this person away when he's attacking you. Like, you have to do something.
You're learning Bulgarian, you're running your own business now, you want to integrate in society, you do everything to integrate in society, not to be just and only with the expat community. I've moved countries many times. Also, loud whisper, intuition saying me, Cindy, pack your bags and you go. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people from the outside always look at it, oh my God, it's amazing. And they romanticize the idea of moving country, but it actually comes with a lot of challenges. And those challenges are both and professional and just personal, like finding a new group of friends and stuff. Can we first talk about you finding new friends and a circle of people that you feel like, oh, you know what? I'm becoming closer and closer with these people, and they're becoming my local tribe here.
Yeah, so the famous Gabor Mate psychotherapist, Gabor Mate, is talking about two very important instincts. So the first instinct is to belong in a group, yeah, and the second important instinct is to be authentic in your own way. And most of the times in society, they clash. So what a lot of people do, they give up their own individuality, their identity, their authenticity to belong in a group, but that doesn't make you happy in the end. So what a lot of people do, just to belong, they go where, yeah, they go where, when if there's people speaking English, they just automatically go there, which is not a bad thing, but they do that most of the times subconsciously just to belong. And I realized this, like, okay, but I want to learn Bulgarian as well. I want to integrate. So I want to be authentic to myself. So I said to myself, okay, so again, maybe you're going to be alone in the first couple of weeks, months, because you chose to learn Bulgarian, which means doing the things, which means going to people that actually speak Bulgarian. And when there are people who speak English, I'm like, sorry, hey, can you speak Bulgarian? And yeah, Bulgarian is back in the days was like a couple of words and sentences, and that was it. So I felt I didn't have like a very in-depth conversation in the beginning, and that's you feel lonely too. Sometimes you just want to talk in your own native language. But I knew I put through, and I said to myself, okay, the rewards of the language learning the Bulgarian will be amazing after a couple of months, at least a couple half a year. And I can give you an example. I saw when I passed by the town hall, I saw a lot of people dancing in the town hall, and it's like, oh, they doing like folk dance, and I want to do that too, but I'm scared. I don't know where to go. I don't understand where I have to find this kind of information. Who should I ask? Everything is Bulgarian. It's like and no expat or nomad have done these dances, these classes. So I went just in the town and I just spoke to anyone and like asked them like, hey, where can I learn how to dance? And they were looking at me like, you're a foreigner and you're the first one who's asking you. It's weird. So I felt a bit awkward, but in the end I found the teacher and she said to me like, unfortunately there are no beginners classes, but they are intermediate classes and you can join and you can see. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought beginners, okay, I can handle it, but now intermediate. So I went to the first intermediate class and everyone was looking like, what is this blonde, tall guy doing here? He's not Bulgarian. It's very obvious. So I felt, yeah, everyone is looking at me. I felt uncomfortable that's normal. I mean, that I have to scan my environment. It's the first time that I was there in this group and will they accept me? All these basic fears. And okay, I said to myself, I just will shut up. I will just learn the dance, just attend the classes. And yeah, now I'm like in my 15th class, and there some people say like, "Hey, Sergey, now you can lead the class for a joke because I am like they say like, hey, you're like Bulgarian, you dance like a Bulgarian." So I created this safety, this safe space for myself, and I think most of the time people when they move to another country, they're looking for a safe space, and then they look good. They go for the familiar things, the Western culture where I grew up in and you grew up in. So everything that is, yeah, not that culture is like strange and scared of the unknown. Yeah, that's I intuitively know these kind of things, but sometimes you have to. It's too much, and you have to build in safe spaces like for yourself. Maybe there's some advice for people who want to move and want to integrate. Yeah,
And for me, that's such a beautiful story because obviously I am a dancer. I have a background as a dancer,
yeah.
and dance allowed me to build many friendships around the world.
Mhm.
And obviously, you not being a professional dancer at
Mm.
all, but dance is a way to connect to another human being on a soul level. And for me, that's also a magnificent story of how powerful just dance is.
Yeah, you don't have to use words, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it's things I can recommend if you want to. Most of the times like this typical Western way, like yeah, I should go to a classroom and go attend to a class, and that and this way I can integrate and that's it. But no, it's about these kind of things as well. Yeah, but you have to go through the fear bubble. And yeah, sometimes it's too much, and then you go to your safe space, and then you can go back. It's not always pushing yourself because there's like a toxic resiliency movement going on as well. Like, yeah, you should push and push. Yes, that's true, but sometimes you have to listen to yourself and yeah, cuddle with cats and go to take a warm bath instead of a cold bath, which is fine too to do that.
Thank you so much, Sergi, for sharing your story, your thoughts. If people want to know more about your tours in Bulgaria or want to be coached, because I know that you coach people as well on how to go and live there, where can they find you on Instagram?
So my Instagram handle is Sergej_Bulgaria. And the website is www.authentic-bulgaria.com.
I'll definitely share it in the episode notes as well. Thank you so much, Sergey, for this
Thank
beautiful
you.
interview.
Thank you for the space of giving me the space to talk.